Good evening, everybody, and this is a Wednesday evening. It has gone 7 o'clock, so we are here at Hungary for Tier 3 at the Hungaroring, the third race out of 5 this week. I am your lead commentator for this evening's Tier 3 race around Hungary, Carl Edens, also known as BitW365. And my co-com tonight here at Hungary for Tier 3 is Tier 4's Lego Man, Lego Lancer, also known as Morgan Pearce. Good evening.
Good evening. Cheers, Carl. Thank you. I'm excited to see what we've got from these Tier 3 drivers today.
Yep. So who's the first one out? So who's furthest around? It is GTS who's the furthest round, who's currently in Sector 2. So we'll follow him. And then we'll go on board with GTS in the Williams for the start of his lap and give you a brief run around the Hungaroring, which was first used on the 10th of August 1986, was the first Hungarian Grand Prix. So we'll jump on board with the Williams. He's taken a wide line to get the best exit out the final corner to start his lap. So DRS open as we head down towards turn 1, go downhill, and then you've got to be braking around about the white line into turn 1. And then we go through a corner that's got not really a number, then it's turn 2. And then as soon as you come out of turn 2, there's turn 3, across the apex. And then we go into turn 4, which is a very quick high-speed left. And then we head to a sweeping turn 5, which then heads down to a 6 and 7 tight chicane. And then we've got turn 8, and then right after turn 9, and then a sweeping left at turn 10, and then a sweeping right of 11. Then we enter turn 12. Careful on power on the exit, and then we've got turns 13 and 14 to finish off the lap. Again, careful with traction out the corners because they are slightly low speed. And then DRS open to finish the lap, and GTS gets us underway with a 16.5.
Yeah, it's a good lap to start things off. Good benchmark for the rest of the drivers to stem off of. See what more times are put on the board.
Drift Hawk goes P2 with an 18.6. We're watching Prix, who was third last week in Belgium in Tier 3. Tie clear with a steady bank of a 24.777, so expect a quicker time from him later in the session. The same with Drift Hawk. But we've got Prix coming around the final corner with a Haas just slightly ahead of him, as Trid goes P2 to make it a provisional Williams 1-2 with a 1:17.270. Genie as Blank has put the second Racing Bull on provisional pole with a 16.304. Not long after his teammate Genie slotted it into P5. So at the moment we've got Racing Bull, Williams, Mercedes, Racing Bull, Haas as championship leader. Kick JP goes third. He leads the championship as
the top 5 with a very blue top 5, and then JP just came in and threw it all off. But
yeah, the bright green Hulk bellowing through. We have the only person on the lap at the moment is Simba, so we'll jump to him in the Chrome McLaren. Simba repping the bring around Hungary. as he's coming through sector 2. Turn
I think he went a little
11.
bit on the curb, but I'm not quite sure if that was just the game glitching or it might just be my Wi-Fi actually.
Let's see if he can have a tidy finish to the lap. He's only got turn 14 left. Where's he going to put the McLaren? Out the final corner and to the line. He goes P7 with an 18.951. His teammate Smith is a higher tier driver, so he can only... Oh, it's Gene Genie's dropped it out of turn 1. We're just seeing a glimpse there of the racing ball.
Fire J Rooster has just reacted to Genie's spin and thrown himself off his lap.
Yeah,
hot lap, so.
Genie must have dropped it out of turn 1 because we've seen the stricken racing ball briefly whilst following the McLaren of Simba, and you can see as Airways retired, he's a higher tier driver, so he'll be starting towards the back. And you see,
Rooster, because he had to swerve out of the way, has caused damage to his front wing now.
Yeah,
so
there's missing an M plate on the right hand side of that Alpine.
He's actually really going to throw off his qualifying.
Yeah, Quimo in the Aston Martin has just started his lap. Ooh, got a bit on the curb on the exit. That can unsettle you slightly. So we'll follow Quimo through turn 2 in the Aston Martin. Hive, his teammate, on a lap further behind, just going through turn 2. But we'll stick with the lead Aston right now of Quimo.
You've got to be careful not to push it too wide out of that previous corner. Otherwise you will find yourself invalidating or getting track limits penalties in the race.
Yeah. Key areas for track limits that I can say directly off the top of my head is out of turn 4, which what you were referencing there, because Quimo with a lovely drift around turn 11. Held it like an absolute champion. Quimo, take a bow. That was full Tokyo drift. The car was at almost 90 degrees and he held that. Spectacular. That's the highlight of the of tier 3, hands down.
We're only 8 minutes in.
But it's not going to do his lap any good. He only does a 21.7 because of it. And his teammate Hive has just popped it into P6, but then Stube in the second Sauber puts it into 6th, just pipping him. So Hive went P6 and then Stube dethroned the Sauber. So yeah, a lot more green now up near that top. As we said earlier, there was quite a lot of blue in that top 5, top 6, but now you've got a hint of green starting to show in that top third of the grid.
Smith is pitted to comply with the higher tier rules because he is also higher tier. So yeah, I think he's. No, that's Simba.
Yeah, we've currently got Josh Boy in the Red Bull as he whips it through turn 4 on his first flying lap in the Red Bull.
Racing in tier 4 later, will he?
Well, I know one person that'll be racing in tier 4, and that's yourself. So hopefully you can use this time whilst co-commentating on tier 3 to get some ideas on what to do strategy wise ready for later on. So advantage you.
Hey, this is not one of my strongest tracks. I've had no practice, so we'll see how
that's a good start, isn't it?
Yeah.
As soon as you say no practice, that's a good start. Josh Boy round the final corner. Red Bull bringing it to the line and goes 14th on a 19.519. So far we've only got 2 drivers that are tier 3 to set a lap time. We've got Sambal in the Red Bull still sat in the pits, and Nels in the Ferrari, who's also still sat in the pits. quickly jump to the Racing Bull of Blank as he's coming through in the third sector, the provisional pole man. Through turn 13. And he's on his way into the pits.
Where does Ty Clear go? He goes 8th, 118.4.
So Ty Clear improves the Haas. As we're catching Triz on the end of his second run.
Means left this session. He might have,
Triz goes P3. Improved. So it's Williams 2-3.
Right, I believe Simba is on a lap. Just coming into, what was it, turn 12.
Yeah, he's just coming into 13 now. The chrome on that McLaren glistening in the sunshine in this qualifying session. Comes around the final corner. Simba improves one position. Goes from P11 to P10 on an 18.815. Displacing the Mercedes of Mutsnuts, who is, as we just jumped to, coming through turn 13. So can he jump back ahead of Simba? But he's on the way into the pits. We have 6 minutes and 17 seconds left on the qualifying clock.
I believe Josh Boy might be in a lap, but I'm not sure if he's just on his in lap.
We've just jumped to the Red Bull anyway through sector 2. Comes round turn 11, heading towards turn 12. We have Nels. Ooh, back end came out for Josh Boy in the Red Bull out of turn 13, but he brought it back in. Savvy's back in. As Josh Boy jumps up to P9 with an 8/10 improvement. We'll quickly drop down to Nels, who's finally on a flying lap in the Ferrari, heading towards turn 4, flicks it into turn 4. Nice and tidy. Hopefully now Savvy is back in, he can get out and put a lap in himself. Still yet to set a lap time is Savvy in the Red Bull. Simba seems to be having issues as well now. He's left. Hopefully Simba can get back in.
Nels might still be yet to set a lap, but he's just on one coming to turn 12.
Yeah, he's just coming towards 13 now. Yep.
We know how fast of a driver he is, so where will this lap put him as he aborts the lap?
Yeah, he's bailed out of it, so not happy with something. Yep. Less than 4.5 minutes left in this qualifying session. Ooh, Fire J Rooster running a bit deep at the 6-7 chicane.
Of clips just came at turn 3 there. I believe he's on a.
Yeah, we're just.
He's 3/10 up.
Yep, now, just jumped to him out of turn 4. Winner last time out in Belgium. So he's got a bit of momentum coming into this week with being a race winner last time out in Belgium. Looking to go back to back. Currently 7th with a 17.295. Has always lost the back end out of 11, and that's the front wing damaged as well. It's so easy to lose the back end through turn 11 because it's so high speed.
It's so tight as well.
Yeah, so the back end gave way, and that is a very poorly looking front wing on that Aston Martin. He's still got
as well because he was time up on his previous.
Yeah, he was looking good for a lap. Hopefully he's got enough time to get in and back out again.
Nels is going to have to really set a screamer of a lap now because there's no second chances after this.
Yeah, we just jumped to Quimo, who had that sideways moment at turn 11, a bit like Hive did just a moment ago, but Quimo managed to hold it round turn 11. He was 2/10 up out of turn 1, so he's looking to improve on his 19.1, as Sabi again is having issues. Quimo looking nice and tidy through 12. Just got to get...
It's a nice corner, turn 11 and 12. Like...
Ooh, a bit of a
just enough to take
twitch.
it flat out.
Simba's back in. 2 minutes 10 seconds left as Quimo improves to P9. So Quimo improves into the top 10 with an 18.399.
Nels has just started a lap now, coming into the first corner. He's got lots of traffic though.
Yeah, quite a lot of cars coming out of the pit lane, and a lot of those are within the top 6. Because you had the two Saubers close together. Hopefully they don't trip up each other. But yeah, there was a lot of cars coming out of the pits as Nels was making his way towards turn 1. He hasn't got a time on. Oh, yeah, out of turn 4.
Oh, he's going to be feeling that. Definitely. No other chances to set a lap now.
No, he left it too late and he bailed on his last lap. So it looks like we could be looking at an all Ferrari back row.
Sabi's joined at a very bad time.
Yeah, Sabi isn't going to have enough time to get out to set a lap. We've got loads of people out on track now within these last minutes of this session. We quickly jump to GTS, who's currently second through turn 11 in the Williams. The Aston Martin well out the way on the inside, so didn't impede whatsoever. GTS looking to leap Blank, who's... Oh, he's dropped it out of turn 13. Mistakes are plenty in these closing stages of qualifying as we jump to the provisional pole sitter now, who's making his way down to turn 2. So
GTS Drag Kings that set very first lap was set in qualifying. Proved to work out really well for him actually. Put him provisionally in second for now. Anything could change in this last couple of laps from people. But yeah, that starting lap, very good lap.
Checker flag is out, so this will be the very last laps for everyone out on track. Still watching Blank in the Racing Bull as he heads down towards turn 12. He's 90 thousandths up on his provisional pole time at the moment. Very slim margins as he enters through 13.
Prix is also on a hot lap, just marginally faster than his previous.
As we have a 10th improvement for Blank, 16.1. That's the final benchmark.
Oh, Prix has spun round. He's drifted it though.
Yeah, and I think
much control of it.
I think that was GTS that went past him as well. So the Williams almost colliding in qualifying as Kick improves to P3, Hive up to P4. Where's GTS going to go? He's had another stab at... Oh, bit of a moment out of 14.
Loads of people losing.
Stays second. Triz will stay 5th, so Blank in the Racing Bull will be on pole for Tier 3 here in Hungary. A slight moment at the end for a few drivers having moments. Out of turn 11 and turn 13, a lot of drivers struggling with the rear of the cars in the closing stages of this qualifying session, but it is Blank that takes pole. And it'll be GTS on that front row with him, so a red Racing Bull Williams front row. Championship leader JP in 3rd. We'll run down through the grid momentarily.
If that qualifying session was anything to talk about what's going to happen in the race, then we're going to be in for an interesting race.
So Blank takes pole by 3/10 over GTS. Then it's JP in third, High fourth, Triz fifth, Stoob sixth, Wookie seventh, Mutsnuts eighth, Josh Boy ninth. Ty Clear rounds out the top 10. Simba is 11th, Quimo 12th, Drifthawk 13th, Gene Genie 14th, Fire J 15th, Geke 16th, Savvy 17th, Smith 18th, Nels 19th, and Airways 20th. So it is an all Ferrari back row here in Hungary. So now the drivers can ponder about strategy as well as go for their toilet breaks or go grab a drink before we go for lights out, because they have a 5-minute break to sort things out. And we have a wet start to this race. Things have just gotten interesting.
Well, we've had people slipping and sliding in qualifying in the dry, so this is going to be very interesting.
It doesn't look heavy neither, so it probably, looking at it, will be intermediates for the start of this one. So we'll have a full grid starting on the green wall intermediate tyres. Quick look in the YouTube chat. Yep, Owen says
Connor,
evening.
Mandy.
Connor said GTS for the win. Well, we'll see how it goes. He is on the front row in second, and good evening Mandy as well. Hopefully Simba has no hiccups for the remainder of this session. Blood Magic says tier 4 delayed. Already. Tier 4 delay. Depends. Hopefully tier 3 doesn't run over, so hopefully tier 4 doesn't get delayed too much. But
yeah, I'm hoping not, because it's late enough as is for me to. I'm shattered by about 3 laps in.
Yeah, we had rain in tier 2 earlier in the week. A bit of a rain spell. We had no rain for tier 1. But we have rain in tier 3.
Yeah, I am.
Good evening,
Armour.
Looking
forward to this actually. See how the drivers can actually handle the wet. I mean, it's
a high downforce track anyway, so I don't think the setups will be that dissimilar between a dry setup and a wet, because it's high downforce anyway, bit like Monaco. So I don't think there'll be too much changes made in setup. But it does mean that the two tyre strategy, where you have to use 2 different sets of compounds, because it's raining and it's going to be a wet start, that ruling is absolutely scrapped. So it's free for all on tyre strategy. Slippery indeed. Slippery indeed.
Like the stream if you haven't already, and subscribe and share and all that.
Yeah,
jazz, you know.
We have 15 people watching, so please like if you're enjoying what you're seeing. I know we're just seeing a pit lane right now, but that's because the drivers have a 5-minute break, and I can pretty much guarantee that we've had 20 drivers on that grid seeing the rain at the start of this one, and their faces have just dropped, because there's quite a lot of people in the league that I know that when they see a wet race, their faces just drop, because it's like, yeah, I'm all right in the dry, but when it comes to the wet, I'm a little bit 50-50. So it completely throws things wide open with the wet conditions, because you could have people that are phenomenal in the dry, rapid and quick, but then
we're a go now as well. Just got the okay from Wookie.
Yeah, we should be going to the formation lap sooner. There we go.
There we go.
So we'll have a quick look at tyres. Yep,
Yeah, all
full grid of
into
20, 100% intermediates for the start of this. So Blank will lead them round on the formation / installation lap.
that V carb does look good, doesn't it?
Oh,
That
we've had
livery is so
Triz and
nice.
Stuber having a bit of a moment on the formation lap. Those two have been teleported back to their grid places, the naughty boys. Put on the
I wonder
naughty
what's
step for
happened
the
there.
rest of this formation lap.
I did that in Tier 4 once. I accidentally slammed right into the back of
Sabi's still
Kapisa.
having issues. He's disconnected again. Not a evening to remember for Sabi. He was unable to set a lap in qualifying because of disconnecting at least 3 times. And he's back in again, but he won't be able to take control of his car until after the formation lap. So he's got to jump back in his car as soon as it's go time. Drivers will be looking to put as much heat as they can in these intermediates. We see Blank working those inters hard on this formation lap.
Yeah, it's really tough if you've got internet problems like Sabi's got now, because, you know, you might be incredible in the race, very consistent, but then if your internet is just going to throw you off, you're completely screwed over by that, and it's solely relying on that in this case.
It also hampers your rhythm as well, because as we know, when it comes to racing, rhythm is everything for braking points and consistency, and if you're disconnecting multiple times, it can throw your rhythm, because it becomes second nature to what you're doing. You don't have to think about it, as we have JP missing his grid box and Simba. So two people...
It's easy to misjudge the braking when it's wet with the grid box sometimes. Well, I find at least.
We'll be going lights out soon. There we go. Hopefully. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Drive through for Josh Boy for jump start, but we're underway in Hungary for Tier 3.
Oh, lots of movements already.
Blank. Oh, JP going looking on the inside of turn 1 and bit of contact, but GTS gets the jump on Blank out of turn 1. JP now looking into turn 2. And that's Blank down to 3rd, but he'll have the inside for turn 3, going side by side with JP, but JP goes up to 2nd, so Blank has gone from 1st to 3rd in the space of 3 corners. GTS leads with JP 2nd, Blank 3rd, Triz up to 4th. Wookie's made headway up to 5th, but now JP's gone for a move into the chicane, and JP now leads. The Sauber leads Williams. And Wookie up to P4 now. He's making loads of places at the start. He's up 3 on this opening lap.
This battle between Triz and High's Eclipse. Triz has just pushed it wide in a couple of places, and then High's trading it back by also pushing wide in a couple of places.
But I think the star of the opening lap has to be Quimo. He's up 5, as well as Nels. Nels is up 6 on this opening lap. Currently going battle with Fire J, but yeah, Nels has gone from 19th up to 13th on the first lap. So 6 places gained for Nels on this opening lap. Phenomenal start for the Ferrari. But JP, since taking the lead, has already opened a 1 second gap to GTS.
Blank is in a lot of trouble here. He's got Wookie and Hive and Triz and Quimmer, who's absolutely trailblazing at the moment. Very fast drivers. He's really
few drivers in the pits. Josh Boy in the pits. Airways and Smith as well. They're in because of being Tier 2 drivers in Tier 3. They have to pit at the end of lap 1. And also on the penultimate lap by the higher tier rules.
Yeah, pretty much most people have moved places since the start. So yeah, that dry qualifying doesn't, instantly determine where you're going to be for the race, even though this track is sometimes, compared to Monaco, being hard to overtake in, it is still possible. It's very possible.
Yeah, I think the comparison to Monaco is slightly altered. I don't think it's like Monaco anymore because, as you say, it is possible to overtake, whereas Monaco it's near on impossible. But we're currently watching the battle for second, third, and fourth as JP sets the fastest lap of the 31.0.
JP really pulling ahead now, nearly 2 seconds ahead of Drag King.
Yeah,
Really just needed to get that lead, didn't he?
Yeah, he started third, but as soon as he got blank in turn 2, and then just before turn 6 he got GTS, and since then he's just opened up the gap and leads by 1.9 seconds, nearly 2 seconds, as you said. He's got loads of clean air and he seems to be quite comfortable in these conditions at the moment, as Wookie's dropped a little bit back from the battle in GTS and blank. Got a few gaps opening up. As it's wet conditions though, nobody will have the use of DRS. So if you're going to do the overtake, you got to do it the old-fashioned way.
I always thought the DRS on this track is kind of odd. You've got only the two DRS zones, but they are right next to each other. Which, I just found it almost a little uncomfortable how, it just started for the straight, stopped, and you go around one corner and you've already started again. I sometimes just forget to activate it a lot of the time, to be honest, but that's probably just me.
The only saving grace is as JP sets another fastest lap. He's brought it down to a 30.5. He's now got a 2.1 second lead. We've currently got Drifthawk on stream, who's down in 10th. He's got a bit of a train behind him. He's got Stoob, Simba, Nels and Sabi. Sabi currently in 14th despite disconnecting at the start of... Oh, bit of a moment for Drifthawk at turn 1. As the two Hasses trade places again, we've got an inter-team scrap. Ooh, Ty Clear going off and taking a polystyrene board with him, which has allowed Geke to go back through. Bit of an inter-team scrap for Haas, but Geke got the upper hand.
Wings all right, so looks as if his front wings are all right, so he should be good to carry on.
Stoob hooked under the rear of Drifthawk through this middle sector.
Yeah, some big gaps starting to open within the top, 8 or so. I guess the only thing is blank is really, closing in on Drag King now as well.
I'm not sure it's blank keeping closing in on GTS. It's blank's pretty much just holding on to GTS at the moment, as GTS has taken the fastest lap now off of JP. The gap come down from 2.1 to 1.8, and Drag King dragging blank with him. So the pair of them slowly creeping in on JP. But we'll quickly jump back to the scrap for P10 with 4 cars in the fight. Is Airways fastest lap 30.3, Airways tier 2 filling in at Ferrari tonight. Oh, Drifthawk really struggling with the rears at the moment. He's struggling through turn 3. Had to have a few flicks of the wheel, and again rear trying to snap out of him out of turn 4. He's not looking happy with that rear end of that Mercedes, which is allowing Stoob to really get under the rear diffuser of the Mercedes. But now we've got he's just got to sit there behind Drift Hawk, who's drift by name, drift by nature at the moment. He's having a bit of sideways moments out of most corners, but he's holding it well. That gap out front behind you has come down to 1.4 as Simba has got past Nels, so the McLaren and Ferrari going side by side into towards 13. And Nels is still there going into 14. We have a yellow flag. That is a McLaren round. That will be Smith. He's had a moment out of turn 11. No safety car though, so he's got it up and working. But we're going to jump to the front. That gap now has come down to under a second. Drag King's really brought that gap down. I wonder if JP has overheated those intermediates a bit.
Yeah, well,
or has he got an issue because he's going really slowly? That gap has just absolutely plummeted. And now Drag King's all over the back of the Sauber. The gap was 2.1 a few laps ago. It's down to 0.4.
Yeah, I'm not sure what JP's actually done. I mean, it doesn't look like he's got any damage from anything.
No, there's no damage on the Sauber, but the Williams is able to really get up the back of the Sauber.
He might have just really, like, worn out those tyres too much.
It looks like he's actually in none because he's got all the lights flashing on the rear wing, so he's probably been harvesting. As it does seem to have gotten a little bit lighter with the rain. Drag King unable to make a look into turn 1. Blank's there as well still.
Little train going.
But it's really heated up for the top 3 places. JP, Kick, Drag King and Blank, 1, 2 and 3. The top 3 from qualifying as well. Pretty much in reverse order because JP started 3rd, Drag King started 2nd and Blank started on pole. So the top 3 are currently inverted. The only one that's not...
At the moment, their pace is really showing. They are about 4.5 seconds ahead of Wookie at the moment. And to pull that in just 7 laps or so, whilst also, you know, still battling, as Wookie's had a moment, but still, yeah, impressive to pull such a gap in that time.
Yeah, quick shout to Mutz Nuts, who is having a load of cars behind him at the moment. He's really got a train behind him as Mutz Nuts.
Got a task on his hands now. Hold them all off and keep where he's at.
The Mutz Nuts Express in full effect. Simba's having a look down to turn 12 and makes it stick, so that's the McLaren up to P9.
Stubbs, I want to drive this train.
Oh, Stubbs got on the grass and that's hampered the car and he's had to collect the rear. And has he held it? Yes, he has, but he's going to lose a few more places. Yep, he's down to P12 as Mutz Nuts is in. I think I wonder if he's been struggling on those inters because he's been sliding around. We also, both Mercedes in, as well as Nels as well.
Drag King getting very close to JP now. Just trying to find those spaces and, you know, potentially send a move through.
Yeah, he keeps ducking out of the way of the dirty air of the Sauber because being that close to the car, I mean, the situation for Blank's even worse because he's actually getting double the effect of the dirty air because he's not only getting the dirty air off of JP Sauber, but he's also getting the dirty air off of Drag King as well.
Drag King now, very close.
That is getting twitchy there for Drag King at turn 12.
Drag King just getting so close that that dirty air is really just going to send him off at some point.
Yeah, he's doing well to follow it, but he's got the racing ball really hooked under. As Wookie's pitted from P4, Wookie's in the Alpine.
don't think...
Still got...
Quimo might pull ahead here.
Oh, we've got a Haas round. Geke's had a moment, and is that a virtual? We have a virtual for Geke having a moment. Geke is the stricken Sauber at turn 11 that's finally got going, but we are under virtual. Still looking very slippery on track at the moment. Unfortunately for me and Morgan, we don't know if the rain is going to clear up any time or if this is pretty much going to be throughout the entirety of the race.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like there's a dry line forming, really.
There is a slight dry line, but...
Slightly, but still, like, pretty consistent rain.
Yeah, it's light but consistent as we're still under virtual.
Which is a lot of the time the worst kind of rain because it sticks for ages and ages.
A few people have pitted to get the free pit stop under the virtual safety car. You lose less time as Smith drive through for speeding in the pit lane. I wonder if we'll see any of the top three take advantage of the virtual, but it depends how much longer it's going to stay out as JP's dived in. Race leader.
Right choice. Ranking chooses to stay out.
We are green again. On to lap 10.
That's going to be an awkward time to pit now then. That might have completely thrown off JP's race now. Completely thrown it off.
Oh, bit deep moment for GTS.
I think Ty Clear's... oh no, Geke's just gone round again.
Geke having a nightmare of a race.
That rain really is some of the worst around here. It's horrible.
So JP finds himself in P6, but he is on fresh inters.
And he gets
so he'll be
lots of that time, and you know, by the pit stop that changed green after the safety car. But I suppose he's in the pit window. So Drag King and Blank will have to pit with that same amount of time anyway.
Ooh, Drag King with another sketchy moment at turn 10.
He hasn't got that dirty air now, so he's gonna...
That must be the rear tyres.
Gonna try and find that clean line. Stay on it. Try not to wreck the tyres.
Ty Clear has retired in the pits. So that is one car down, 19 left running.
9 laps on the intermediates. The top 7 have done so far, or including...
Stube has fell foul of track limits. He's got the first one for track limit warnings down in P11. Blank having a little look as Geke also retires in the pit, so we've lost both Haas cars in the matter of a lap. Both Haas retiring in the pit, so we're down to 18 runners from 20 on lap 11 of 35. As we're following the battle for P1 and P2, GTS and Blank, who have taken first and second after JP pitted right at the end of the virtual safety car. But at least he's lost less time than he would have. I mean, yes, he was in the pits when it went green, but he probably didn't lose much time than he would have if it was full racing anyway. He's slowly working his way back up in P5. He's chasing down Prix.
I think Blank's annoyed with himself that he's lost those positions at the start, so he's really flying around the back of Drag King now, just trying to get a move done anywhere he can.
Yeah, he does look the more confident and the more comfortable in these light conditions, these greasy conditions.
We know how strong Drag King is at defending though. We've seen it before. I have no doubt that he'll do it again.
As there it
JP
is,
goes
JP
fastest.
28.6. The fastest lap has really come down because it was a 1:30 by Airways earlier on. It's now come down to a 1:28. So that'll be the fresh intermediates plus the water being dispersed from the track as the cars are going round. The only problem for Blank is he may be confident in these conditions compared to GTS at the moment, but because there's no DRS assistance down from 14 to turn 1 and then from turn 1 to turn 2 because of the wet conditions, it's near enough made it even harder to make an overtake. So do you pit for the fresh inters and like JP has done, as Triz is now fallen foul? He's got 3 seconds. He's got JP slowly crawling that gap down. We're going to jump to the Sauber as he's closing in.
I have a feeling that Drag King might choose to pit soon. He's seen that I think those top 4 will choose to pit soon. Purely because JP's been absolutely rapid on these new tyres. I mean, they are effective. They are.
Yeah, the
so
gaps really come down. As soon as the front 4 ahead of him pit, JP will comfortably have the lead. As he's now right up behind the Williams of Trey, so be getting that dirty air off the Williams.
It's now his turn to be in the dirty air.
Blank and GTS have lapped Smith. That is the lapped McLaren of Smith down in 18th as JP 3 seconds.
Did cut the corner. I think he just didn't quite make the chicane bit. Must have gone a bit too fast and exited at the wrong place, so that given him 3 seconds.
That could throw the cat amongst the pigeons late in this race, as JP has gotten Triz.
Especially if the leaders they hit, it might be not too far behind JP if they can keep within that, and assuming they don't get penalties, they will be comfortably sitting where they are.
Oh, as the gap really came down, as Blank's having a look on the inside of turn 1, and Blank with a tighter line through turn 1 holds it. GTS will have the more grip, taking the wider line out of turn 1. Keeps the lead. Yeah, holds position through turn 2 as well. So Blank had a look into turn 1. GTS took the wider line, which meant he'd have the better grip out of turn 1. Blank had to take the tighter line, which means he'd have lesser grip, having to keep it tight. So GTS was able to hold on to the race lead and hold it through turn 2 as well. So Blank still stuck behind the Williams as we're on lap 14.
Abby's managed to pull ahead a couple of places, considering he started relatively near the back because of connection issues and started the race, the formation lap with connection issues. Managed to get, stay ahead of his teammate.
Yeah, down in 14th is Sabby, so he's having a brilliant job at the moment despite all his issues during qualifying at the start of this race, as you say, disconnecting a bunch of times. As GTS having a moment through turn 14, and he's going to be under quite a bit of pressure as Blank is hooked up behind the Williams. He's going to move to the inside. Is he going to make the move stick this time into turn 1? Drag King holding it round the outside, but has Blank got it done this time? They're still side by side as they head down towards turn 2, but Blank makes the move stick this time. So Blank now ahead of GTS. The Racing Bull has finally got past the Williams, but look who is up to P3 now on the fresh intermediates. He's gotten past Triz now And JP in third place, despite the 3 seconds, will be closing that 7-second gap to Blank and GTS. They'll be sighing a bit of relief seeing that 3-second penalty next to JP's name, because it means JP's got to push even harder, because even if he wants to win this race, he's got to win by over 3 seconds.
We did see at the beginning, though, in lap 1, 2, 3, that he did pull a massive gap to Drag King, and the only time, well,
but now it's Blank's turn to pull a gap, because he's already 1.6 ahead of GTS since overtaking. So Blank definitely looks the more capable in these conditions. Drag King not liking the conditions at all, because since the Racing Bulls got past, he's opened up nearly a 2-second lead over the Williams within a lap. So it's looking nice for Blank at the moment. It means he can just breathe a little bit. He's got a nice buffer to GTS, and despite JP closing that gap down hand over fist, he'll have that 3 seconds. So that'll play into Blank's hands as well, as Simba and Stube have moved up after Airways has pitted. So Simba and Stube move up to 8th and 9th, and Quimo is now into the top 10 as well. We'll have a little look at this scrap for 8th and 9th between Stube and Simba. McLaren versus Sauber, Mercedes versus Ferrari. Mercedes powering the McLaren, Ferrari powering the Sauber.
Yeah, the big gap ahead of Hive Eclipse now.
Yeah, Hive has got a 10-second gap between himself and Wookie. Wookie P5, Hive in P6.
Blank in Drag King still yet to
Blank's in, Blank's pitted. Blank is in from the race lead.
I'm just saying that.
He'll be going on to a fresh set of intermediates.
Taking out another lap, going for the overcut. Not sure how well it's going to work for him, but we'll see what happens.
Brand new inters on that Racing Bull, which has put Drag King back into the lead.
Prix is still yet to pit as well, but he also does have the 3 seconds, or what was it, 3 seconds, yeah. 16 laps still on that inter though.
Simba's pitted from P8. So how much longer is Drag King going to take these intermediates? Because earlier versions of the game, we were able to do an entire race on one set of intermediates. Not so much now, so he will have to pit at some point, because those inters can't...
He's looking relatively comfortable. I mean,
he's having a few twitchy moments. That the gap to Triz from JP is now over 11 seconds. As we have Smith in the back of shot going very deep out of turn 11.
I mean, it's looking very possible that Drag King 1 stops this, but does he come in now is the real question. No, he doesn't. He stays out for another lap. Wow, that's... yeah.
Yeah, you can see he's struggling. You can see he's struggling on those intermediates. The only thing I can think of is Drag King's trying to hold it out as long as possible for in case, because we don't know as commentators, because we don't know what the weather conditions are throughout the race. We only can see what we're seeing. As Fire J's got 3 seconds. Oh, there's a bit of contact at turn 2. JP goes for a move at the inside of turn 2 and contact again. Makes the move around the outside of turn 3.
I think Drag King's going to find himself really wanting to pit now, because JP was around a second behind Drag King and really just reeled him in just by having that tyre advantage, I think. Also being, you know, an absolute beast in these conditions, but just as Drag King sliding around now, so
yeah,
really
he's
to get it changed.
He's having to control that car. Those inters are looking worse for wear. Again, the back end sliding. And the gap's already 1.3.
At this rate.
Simba's gone for a... Simba's crashed in the back. Sorry, Smitter's crashed in the background and safety car is out.
Oh, that's perfect timing for Drag King now. Surely he pits.
JP would probably pit as well, I believe. Yeah, JP's in as well. They have, I think it's 4 sets of intermediate tyres available to them, but this has really fell into Drag King's hands.
Yeah, and Triz's and everybody who was on the intermediate tyres is lasting it out this many laps. This is going to be like saving grace for them now.
Blank stays out. He's on relatively fresh inters. But I don't think he's going to take... He's just about going to take the lead from... No, he's not. He gets second place, though, so JP holds on to the lead.
King's going to have Blank to deal with now, though, because Blank's only on those 2-lap-old inters, so... No, he's not going to have the tyre advantage, but they're not, you know, too old tyres. So he's still going to be competitive and able to defend Drag King.
Yeah, so while we're under safety car, it gives us a chance to... well, it gives me a chance to pull my F1 filing cabinet out and bring some historic things from the past around Hungary, because the one thing that Hungary is definitely known for is a world of firsts, because there's been many drivers getting their first ever Grand Prix wins at this track. We had Damon Hill getting his first win around here in the Williams. We had Fernando Alonso getting his first win around here in the Renault. It was also Ocon. Yeah, we had Oscar Piastri last year getting his maiden win.
Piastri fanboy.
Well, you've kind of gave that away with that shout. And we also...
Tell, but...
Yeah. And we also had Esteban Ocon getting his first ever race win round here. But a very popular one amongst especially British drivers, and especially a few people that I know in MRC, is it was the race in 2006 where Jenson Button finally got his name on a winner's trophy. So those are the drivers to get their first wins around this track. But I'm sure the MRC's creator will be smiling at both the mention of Damon Hill's first win and Jenson Button's, because I know hands down that Martin Hills is a massive Damon Hill and JB fan, and he's definitely shown it in the past in Discord with his models and stuff. So he likes to shout about those two in particular, especially when it comes to Hungary.
I'm wondering when the safety car's going to come in now.
It usually stays out for about 2 or 3 laps, but we have quite a few cars towards that have just entered Sector 3. We have the 2 Mercedes of Drifthawk and Mutsnuts, as well as Josh Boy.
Mutsnuts was quite far up the field, actually. I think, you know, probably pitting didn't help massively, but yeah, he's found himself right at the very back of the drivers who haven't been retired from the race.
Yes. I mentioned earlier on in the stream that the first race here at Hungary in Formula 1 at Budapest was the 10th of August 1986. The track length is 2.722 miles long. It is 35 laps we race, which is 50%, which is a total race distance travel of 95.265 miles. So by the end of it all, everyone that that reaches the checkered flag will be doing just over 95 miles on around this track, 35 laps. We're on
Another
lap
piece of trivia
21. Go on.
is that here, Nigel Mansell in 1992 established himself as the 1992 world champion.
Yes, and that is
won
another one
Schumacher
that
in 2001.
yeah, and I can pretty much tell you that it was a very popular one in '92 when Mansell won, because obviously the one thing we knew especially when Mansell came to racing in Britain, whether it was Brands Hatch or Silverstone, everybody remembers, if you were around the time or read about it, the Mansell Mania, as it was known as. But yeah, Nigel Mansell clinched the '92 Drivers' Championship at Hungary. We are waiting on Fire J to get to the back of the train, and he just has, but we have Josh Boy, Drift Talk and Mutts Nuts further round. Will we get the safety car in this lap, or will it be going round once more?
The track is
Safety car is in.
Track is also ranked 3rd among Hungarian destinations visited by tourists, which is interesting. Probably most coming to see the actual race.
Interesting fact there, but as we are about to go green flag racing, so JP will take control of the pace. It's down to him whenever they decide to start, which allows Josh Boy, Drift Talk and Mutts Nuts that little bit of extra time to get onto the back of the train, because Josh Boy has just caught the back of the train now. Where is JP going to go? He's leaving it. He's coming turn 14. Is he going to go out? How late is he going to leave it? He's going to leave it as late as he dares. He has finally pulled the trigger. Everyone's, oh, there's contact at the restart.
Oh, who's that?
Wookie has been collected and has plummeted down the order.
This also was involved, but I'm not sure if he was involved in the contact.
I believe we'll probably see that in the stewards' room, because the cars were very closely bunched together for the restart. I believe that'll definitely be looked at, because Wookie did end up being collected. He lost the front wing and now finds himself down in 17th after showing a phenomenal race so far. But it is JP leading from Blank and GTS. Hive close in there as well in 4th. The top 4 have broken away over a second and a half from Stube in P5. But JP's got a lot of work to do. He may be leading, but he's got to open up a 3-second gap. We noticed that he managed to open up a 2-second gap earlier in the race, but then it was soon reeled back in over a number of laps, down from 2.1 to under a second. So he is capable of opening the gap, and he's got it up to 1.2 from Blank in these early stages.
Yeah, JP very comfortable up there.
Yellow flag, that is Nell's round in, no, it weren't Nell's round, I think it was Airways round at turn 13 in the Ferrari. Yes, it was Airways. As Wookie,
pull more of that gap now, just try and get it 3 seconds ahead.
He's got it to 1.4. He has got a slight tyre advantage over Blank, because as you mentioned earlier, Blank has got 3 more laps on those inters, because he stayed out when the safety car came out, because those inters were relatively new. So it's 3 laps difference between JP's inters and Blank's inters. It's hovering around 1.3 1.4 seconds at the moment, so Blank definitely keeping JP within visual reference.
Yeah, Blank's got Drag King to worry about now. He's got that tyre advantage. I mean, he's just keeping him pace still. I'm definitely still struggling with the wet, even though there is a slight slight dry line starting to form. But
Yeah, but the rain it's been light, but it's been consistent throughout this race. So I think this rain's here to stay as JP gets the fastest lap down to a 27.9.
he's absolutely thundering ahead now.
1.7 the gap. He may be, but the gap's not opening up as quickly as we probably thought. So Blank is holding his own relatively well. We've got 11 or 12 laps left of this Hungarian Grand Prix here in Tier 3. Lap 24 of 35.
Tracking just reeling Blank in a bit.
Yeah, Hive dropping off a little bit, but the top four have really broken away from the rest of the pack because Stube is 4 seconds off of the Aston Martin of Hive in P4, but he's got Genie and Simba all over him for company.
He was having a chance to look up the inside of Blank, but he did have a bit of a moment.
Yeah, and that's allowed Hive to creep up to the back of the Williams again. That gap stable between JP and Blank, so Blank really doing a good job to keep that gap as stable as possible. Wookie, 3 seconds. Sadly, he got caught up on the restart and finds himself down in 17th. So evening to forget for Wookie at the moment. He's 27 seconds off of Airways. Top 15 score points in MRC. So if you're in the top 15 at this moment in time, you are guaranteed points if the flag was to drop now. And if the flag was to drop now, it would be, I believe, Blank would be dropping off the podium places. Not Blank, JP will be dropping out off the podium places because of that 3-second penalty.
If the checkered flag were to run now, I'd want a refund first of all. I've still got 10 laps of racing. Come on now.
10 or 11, yeah. We've got still. Oh, Drag King having a bit of a moment. The gap between JP and Blank has now jumped out, is round about the 2-second mark now. So JP is creeping that gap up. He'll have 10 laps to go after this one. So he's got plenty of laps to try and get that gap to 3 seconds. We'll jump.
If he'll do it. I mean, he's on track to do it currently, but we'll see how he goes because Blank is dropping back. He's going to have that tyre disadvantage, so he's going to be dropping back anyway. But if he manages to get in any battles with Drag King, which is entirely possible, I mean, he's got that gap, but it's entirely possible with the laps we've got left in this race. He might find himself out of the 3 seconds of JP and then pull ahead and win the race even with that penalty.
Yeah, we've currently got the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th on stream because it's the closest battle further up in the grid positions. Unfortunate for Stu, he may be in P5, but with that 3 seconds that he's got, as Sabi now picks up 3 seconds as well, I'll give a nod of the head to Sabi because he's in P8. He had issues during qualifying, which meant he was unable to set a lap time. His internet and connection has been holding up ever since, and he's been making up for it, and despite the 3 seconds he's still having a very, very solid race.
He's on 12 lap intermediates as well. He's looking rather comfortable actually as well. My question is when he's going to pit to change them though.
I think it's going to be, it's got to the point now that it's too late to pit because we're on lap 27 or 35. You'd lose lose more time than you can gain back on a fresh set of tyres. So a lot of the drivers now will be trying to hold out as much as best they can now to the end. And we noticed how long it's capable to go on the intermediates because Drag King took it a ridiculous amount.
There's a bit of contact between the two Mercedes. Just wheel to wheel through the final corner. They're still very close to each other. Drifter had a little look on the inside, but doesn't quite make it round.
Little into team scrap in the Silver Arrows, but looks like Mux Nuts has got a bit of an advantage now over Drift Hawk as we have a yellow flag. That is Airways round. Airways has got damage on the Ferrari. He was in a scrap with his teammate. The Ferraris were close together on track. As always. I'm sorry, but we just had a weird moment between Nels and Triz on stream. If you'd seen that, that is weird. The front end of Triz's Williams glitched underneath the rear of Nels' Ferrari, and they were both bouncing on each other. It was, yeah, that's as far as I'm going with that innuendo. Bizarre moment. But you said about the gap opening up, but the gap's now under a second. Yeah, again.
Very close between them now. Even though Blanca's got that.
Nels has disconnected from P10. Hopefully Nels can get back in. No, they're not. As Airways pits for repairs.
And he's going to have to pit on the penultimate lap as well.
Yeah, so hopefully he's got enough. Hopefully he's got enough inters left to put a set on the penultimate lap. As Nels is back in, he's only lost one place. He's gone from P10 to P11 in the time of the disconnect. But the race is definitely on out front.
The gap still very comfortably sat behind him now. Only about, half a second separates them. He's managed to reel him in.
Yeah, and Drag King's able to close the gap up now as well. So JP has a stellar opening run on the inters, but then it seems to drop off relatively quickly because he's under quite a bit of pressure from Blank, and he's also got Drag King closing down. But luckily for JP, Hive is 5 seconds back off of this 3. So even with the 3 seconds, he's still looking at a podium finish in 3rd place. So it's not going to be too much damage done, but he would still want to have the win because obviously leading the championship. But he's got the 3 seconds, which, as it stands, would drop him into 3rd, and it'll be Blank, GTS, then JP. So the top 3 would finish exactly how the race started.
Yeah, I think JP, we've seen that with fresh tyres, he is absolutely rapid. But as soon as those tyres start to drop off, and especially in the wet, I know it's hard, it's probably... if I was on just medium traction control, I'd be spinning off all over the place anyway. But, it's probably hard with those degraded tyres, but we've just seen him really drop off when he gets to that point.
Yeah, the only problem for JP is, as we've mentioned a few times, he's got the 3 seconds, plus if he was to pit now, he'd lose more time than he'd probably gain back on a fresh set because of how late in the race it is. He's gone uber defensive on the way down to turn 1, trying to break the toe of the Racing Bull. He's going to, even with the 3 second, he's going to defend with all his might and all his ability because he'll want the bragging rights to finish first on track, even though he won't be first on the timing pages. We're on lap 30 of 35, so we've got 6 laps left here in Tier 3 at Hungary.
I'm just trying to find a place to go now, just trying to put the car in the right places to be able to It passed.
The only problem is, apart from, oh, he's had a little look, he wanted to think of doing a Max Verstappen into the 6-7 chicane, but the middle sector at Hungary it's single file. It is literally single file through the middle sector because there's not that many places to overtake because of it's the twistiest part of the track as Airways gets the fastest lap down to a 27.1. Blank is looking left, he's looking right, he's really trying to force JP into a mistake, but JP's holding firm.
Yeah, I think it's horrible, that feeling that I can see it with Blank. He knows he's faster, but he is so far all around the back of everything.
He'll want to make the overtake on JP because he doesn't want to fall into the clutches of Drag King, because Blank and Drag King are practically racing for the race win, where JP is just holding on for dear life because he's got the 3 seconds. Blank doesn't need to make the overtake as Sabi has disconnected. That is unfortunate. He's been Drag King having a sideways moment at turn 2. He held the rear end though, but Sabi is disconnected, and the AI has also pitted Sabi as well. That's going to hurt. He was having a brilliant race despite all the disconnections.
If God, do not even curse that. Please do not even curse that. Don't even. Please don't. I've had enough in the dryer on this track. Don't even, please.
Don't scare don't scare the lad, Drift God. Don't scare the lad.
I have a life. I want to go to bed at a reasonable hour.
Drag King's dropped off by 1.7. The top 2 have broken away from the Williams, so I wonder if it'll be possible for JP to possibly hold on to second, but it's a sigh of relief for Blank because he's got that buffer now to Drag King, so even if he doesn't make the overtake on JP at the end, he's pretty much guaranteed the race win. As we can see, Drag King closing the gap back down despite having the little moments. JP keeps breaking the toe.
JP's got that tyre advantage though, so I think we've seen that JP, whilst having a tyre advantage, he drops off, like he just slid a bit there. But Blank, even with those very worn tyres, he's still
bit of a moment for Blank there at turn 3. He bounced over the curb, which unsettled the car. He unsettled the car a little bit, but he collected it relatively quickly, so he was able to keep a grip on JP. But Drag King's got that gap back down. He's back under the rear wing of Blank now.
Yeah, this is really going to be a battle of who can stay within 3 seconds of JP. And I think Blank is sitting quite comfortably where he is now. He doesn't fully have to send a move because he's quite comfortable where he is.
But he's going to be under pressure from Drag King, and as we know, it's Drag King and Blank that will benefit from JP's 3 seconds. So even if Blank doesn't make the move, he's still going to have Drag King putting pressure on the back of the Racing Bull, and all it takes is one mistake from Blank and Drag King can just nip through, and then Drag King's in the driver's seat for the race win.
Yeah, they're getting rather close now. I think turn one and onwards are probably some of the best places to make a move. So he's not got too long left to make an overtake if he does want to.
I will quickly say though, it is unfortunate though that JP has got the 3 seconds, because it would make this fight in the top 3 a lot more interesting and a lot more juicier, because it would mean all 3 of them would be in the opportunity of winning. But because JP's got that 3 seconds, it's pretty much a 2-horse race. As Blank had a little look into the 6-7 chicane again. He did it before, as Drag King having a moment slightly behind as well under traction. But you can see how close Blank is able to follow behind JP. I mean, JP's driving brilliantly to keep them both behind, but he's going to be feeling a little bit dejected with that penalty he's got. The worst he can get is third, which is still decent points and a podium, as we're about to go on to the penultimate lap, 34 or 35.
JP's going to be feeling a bit miffed at that, especially considering he's been racing so well, putting in an absolute fight, managing to pull that gap and even keep hold of the tyres when they dropped out, but also still.
Muts Nuts has picked up 3 seconds, down in 15th.
Yeah, it's just that penalty's really screwed him over.
Yeah, there's a handful of penalties though, so whilst we're in the closing stages of this race, we'll have a quick look at the penalties. As we said, JP on 3 seconds, Stooby's on 3 seconds. We have Triz on 3, Fire J on 3, Wookie, Sabi and Muts Nuts all on 3 as well. So at least it's only 3 seconds that people have got. It's not 6 or more, so it's not too damaging, but it does hurt a little bit, as we're going to stick with this battle because anything can happen, because all it takes is one mistake from either, let's say Blank for example, he makes a mistake, Drag King can nick through, and then Drag King will be in prime position for the race win. So even though Blank wants to attack, as Triz now picks up 3 seconds, that's another driver added to the list of penalties as we go on to the final lap of the race.
I have a feeling most of these penalties are all from track limits, especially, you know, turn 3 and places like that, because it is so strict, and it's so easy to just push one tyre a little bit too far off the track. Just like that, boom, you've got a penalty.
And the wet conditions make it a bit of a challenge, as Drag King almost spearheads towards the wall. He collected that Williams well heading towards turn 3. But even though JP has been defending lap after lap after lap, it's going to be for nothing, and that's going to hurt him, as again Airways has pitted on the penultimate lap by the rules.
Tracking very close up to the gearbox of Blank there, nearly sent it a bit too far, but
there's no place to make a move in this part of the lap, so Blank's right up. Drag King's looking very racy towards the end. He knows this is his last chance, but there's no way to overtake because Blank had a look. JP goes very defensive. He doesn't want to give this. Oh, there's contact between the front two as Drag King tries to force his way through on the inside of turn 13, and a contact again. They're not giving each other an inch.
Drag King's had a little moment.
JP wins on track, but it's going to be Blank that takes the win. Drag King second. What a finish to this race. It got very dicey between Drag King and Blank in those closing laps. Hive takes P4. Stube will drop down to P6. So Genie, Mr. Clean, takes P5. Simba will come home in 7th for McLaren. Quimo will be coming home in P8. Nels P9. A great race from Nels from towards the back of the grid. Triz comes in P10. Fire J will be bringing the Alpine round in 11th, and Wookie, a decent recovery drive for Wookie. Damage limitation, he'll come in P12.
Yeah, interesting race, those final laps there.
Sabi, despite being disconnected, will come, I believe it'll be 14th, so it'll be 13th and 14th for the Red Bull pairing. Yeah, 13th and 14th for Red Bull, and then we've got the two Mercedes duo as Drift Hawk has a moment. Don't reverse over the finish line, mate. as Airways tried to hold off as well to allow Drift Hawk to finish ahead of him. I've got an inkling if it weren't for the 3 seconds, I would be slightly eking my driver of the day vote towards JP, because he was defending like an well, as Fernando Alonso would say, defending like a lion throughout that race. Unfortunately for the 3 seconds means he finishes third, but he had a problem, a tricky qualifying session, wasn't able to set a lap time due to track limits and I believe one disconnect. Had a decent recovery in the race, so I'm going to give my vote to Nels for driver of the day. And we've got the countdown, and we're not going to see the finishing results, are we? We might do quickly. Yeah, we've got 29 seconds to run through the provisional finishing order for Hungary in Tier 3. So Blank wins, Drag King second, JP third, Hive fourth, Genie fifth, Stoob sixth, Simba, then Quimo, then Nels, who I've given my vote for driver of the day. Triz in P10, Fire J 11th, Wookie is in 12th, Josh Boy is 13th, Sabi 14th, Mutz Nuts in 15th, Drift Hawk finishes 16th, Airways 17th, and then we've got the non-finishers of Smith, Ty Clear and Geke. And people are leaving left, right and centre, which is resetting the time. So that is it for Tier 3 for Hungary. You've got one more race tonight, and lucky for all of you, he's going from the comms box to his race car. He's got to hop out the comms box and absolutely leg it to his car for his race for Tier 4. Yeah, we've got one more race tonight. Yeah, Tier 4 left to do for this one, which will be getting underway very, very soon. So that is it from myself and Morgan. So hopefully you've able to see some useful stuff ready for Tier 4 and use that to take into your race later. But thank you for being on. But yeah, thank you for commentating alongside tonight. Blank happy in the YouTube chat, a big ecstatic get in.
Well played, Blank. Well raced. It was very good.
Well deserved. Yeah, that's it from Tier 3. Tier 4 left to come today. They get underway at 8:45, but then we have one more race left at Hungary, and that'll be tomorrow at 7 o'clock when Tier 0, those that race no assists, come out to play for one last time around the Hungaroring. So thank you from myself and Morgan. We'll see you again soon. Stay tuned for when Tier 4 goes live in a little moment's time.